Hello. I think we're live. Hello, hello. Testing, testing. Let's just give this a second and make sure that it's all okay. I never know when you first... okay, I can see some comments. This must mean that I'm live. Adam left a comment. Ready, steady, go. Hey, Hayley. Hi, Adam. Hi, Tyler. Thank you for joining. Hope you're both having a nice Sunday. I don't know about you two, but it's freezing here in the UK, in the south of the UK. I think it's like when I woke up this morning, it was like 12 degrees in my flat. Live, thank you, Tyler. So I think I finally had to bite the bullet and put the heating on, which I really didn't want to do with the cost of living. But yeah. Cool. I'll just let a few more people trickle in. The agenda for this live stream is to basically talk about retiring and investing in order to retire, retiring early, and also how dividends and retiring off dividends come into play with that as well. So I've got some talking points, things I just want to discuss, but it's more, it's more a discussion. So please do leave your comments and your questions, and we'll all just have a little bit of a discussion and see where it takes us. Good evening. Good evening. Freezing in Scotland. Yeah, I bet it is. Has it been snowing in Scotland, Lewis? I saw some pictures of snow. I don't know if it was Scotland. Adam, Poland will have 10 centimetres of snow soon. Oh, it's really getting cold, isn't it? I feel silly moaning about it being really cold here when it's not even snowing yet. Also, if I sound really bad, I'm not very well. I've got a bit of a chest infection and throat problem at the moment, so I don't sound very good, but I feel okay. Swordfish K2, that's an inventive name. Hi, Hayley. Hello. Hey, Paul. Freezing in Wales too. Yeah, seems everywhere. It's a bit cold at the moment. Okay, I'm going to get going. I will work my way through questions, so do leave them, or any comments even. Just leave them and I'll work, methodically through. If for whatever reason I don't get through them all, my plan is to save them and then start the next live stream. Maybe I'll do one next week with them questions that I missed and actually start it like that. Okay, so let's have a look at some things to talk about. This idea of retiring and retiring perhaps early through investing. It's quite a tricky one. Obviously, lots of people would love to retire early, but in reality, not many people do get to retire early, and even, not even retiring on time. Some people have to work into the retirement age just because, they need the money. Counterbalancing that, obviously, is the argument that people could retire, but they choose not to. And that's a whole different thing, I think, and we'll get onto that. I obviously right now have a dividend portfolio and I'm very interested in dividend investing. And a lot of people say to me, I've just seen a really funny question. A lot of people say to me on comments, you're only 26. Why on earth are you investing in dividends? Why don't you invest in growth stocks and focus on that and then move to dividend investing when you're closer to retirement? And that makes complete sense. There is lots and lots and lots of people doing that, and that is a very structured and known strategy when it comes to investing and investing through different stages of life. Is it possible to retire off dividends? I think the short answer is yes, absolutely. There are people out there that have retired off dividends and are very much working towards retiring off dividends. But I do think it's really difficult, and I think there's lots to think about when it comes to retiring purely off dividends. Some things that you need to think about. How much do you need in the portfolio to actually be able to retire? And that's where it gets hard. There's this general rule that in order to work that out, you need to do 25 times how much you need to live on per year. So if you need £20,000 a year to live on, times 20,000 by 25. That is obviously a bit of a reductionist strategy because so many factors come into play, and it's not that one figure will fit all. No way. But even if you do that, straight away you're going to get a very large number, and that can be really, really off-putting. You can get a number in the millions and you can think, okay, well, I've currently got less than 20,000 in my portfolio. How on earth am I ever going to be able to retire and get to 1 million? But what you've got to think about is you've got the power of time, which comes with the power of compounding. And also, if you're planning to reinvest those dividends, that's going to help as well. Let me just have a little bit of water before I absolutely sound like a horse. So you need to figure out how much to live on per year. And that's going to change for everyone. And obviously some people are really happy living on lower amounts of money. Some people need a lot more to sustain their lifestyle and live how they want to live. And all of these factors need to be considered. And again, it's not as straightforward because, of course, as time goes on, we have the effect of inflation, which we all know cost of living and inflation can eat that money up and more. So you need to consider that. For example, if you work out that you need £25,000, £30,000 to live on now a year, you can't then assume that in 30 years' time, having £30,000 per year is going to be good enough. It's not. If you need 30,000 now, you need to think about what that figure will be in that time period in 30 years' time, because it's not going to be the same. Not with inflation and cost of living. Everything goes up over time. It always has done. That is how it is. So it's going to be different. And you need to factor that in as well. So moving on to dividends specifically now. Obviously, if you're going to retire off dividends, you're going to be looking at having a portfolio that is going to pay you the amount you need to live on per year purely in dividends. So we're not talking about selling out of the positions. We're talking just on what your stocks are going to pay you purely in passive income in dividends. So you're going to need a portfolio big enough, or I'm going to need a portfolio big enough, but we'll get to that, to pay you that £30,000 per year in passive dividends. And obviously that is going to be a very, very large number. So if you're working out how much money in a portfolio you need in order to get those dividends, clearly if you have a portfolio that is paying you a higher yield, you need less money in it. Let's backtrack a bit. If your portfolio on average is going to be paying you, 2% dividend yield, you're going to need a lot higher of a portfolio, a much bigger portfolio than if that average dividend yield sat at 6%, 7%. So you would probably say, okay, easy. I will find myself a dividend portfolio that pays me 10%. I will find those dividend stocks that are paying 12%, between 8% and 12%, and I'll just have them in my portfolio and I'll call it a day, because that means I'll have to have less in its entirety to get that amount per year. That sounds good. But what I would argue in that case is that by doing that, you are going to be missing out on a lot of good opportunities and a lot of good stocks. You're going to be picking those stocks just based on dividend yield, and they may be the stocks that are not able to sustain their dividends over time. So you could really risk investing into a stock that is paying 12% now, but in 2 years' time, they'll completely cut their dividends back down to 2% because they aren't able to sustain it. They're not showing you that they can increase their dividends over time. They're just, putting this big shiny label on themselves saying, I'm going to pay you 12%. And also, if you're only investing in really high dividend yielding stocks, you're probably going to naturally, get a less diversified portfolio, because you are going to be only picking those high dividend yielding stocks, and they tend to come from certain companies, certain stocks, maybe REITs or some, different companies, but you're not going to get every single sector. You're not going to get exposure to every single sector by doing that. And then if one sector's hit, your whole portfolio's hit, and it can just be a little bit difficult. Of course, though, saying that, if you're only caring about income, then you may argue that you don't care about the growth of your portfolio. I don't think that's a great strategy. I'm not going to do that personally. And, yeah, I probably wouldn't feel comfortable only investing in really high dividend paying stocks. Maybe naturally just have some in there that I like anyway, but not focus on that. I can see I've got some questions coming in, so I'll get through them in a second. I think when it comes to picking the stocks for your portfolio in order to maybe retire off dividends, you need to think about what stocks are not just good now, but what will be good in the long run. Which ones have a competitive advantage? Because like we were just saying, you don't want to pick a stock now that is then going to cut their dividends and not be able to sustain that over time. So it's really, really difficult. There's so much to think about. But people have been able to do it, and people are still, striving to be able to retire off their dividend payments. If there's anyone here, by the way, that has either managed to retire early from whatever method, so just retire early, anyone that has managed to retire and use dividends, or anyone that's working towards that, let me know, because that's really interesting for me at this stage of my portfolio journey. But let's just have a look at some questions quickly. Where did I get to? Adam says Unilever has a very high payout ratio, more than 65%. That's great. I feel like Unilever, lots of people really trust Unilever. It's one that I personally have in my portfolio. I've looked at it in depth. I feel like it's one that I wanted to add. I can't obviously speak for you, and I'm not a financial advisor at all. So I can't give advice, but I have it and I really like it, and I plan to hold that for the long run. I feel like the sector that Unilever is in is a very robust sector, and it's a very robust company. I love Unilever, and at the moment I have quite a high exposure to them, so I'm not really looking to buy more now and for a while. But having said that, if I see it at a good price, I might buy some more shares. AEMJ says, so ... when are you retiring? That's funny. Yeah, I guess this live stream is all about retirement, so I should speak about my own plans. So, okay, I would like to retire early, but I don't want to retire and do absolutely nothing. That's not my plan. I just don't want to do that. And I really like my job. So I'm not in a rush, and I'm not stressed about retiring really, really early, but equally I would absolutely love to do that. In terms of me retiring off dividends, that's actually not my plan. Okay, so my plan is to build myself a portfolio of dividend paying stocks and some other stuff elsewhere, and then be able to use them dividend payments to sustain a part of my lifestyle. So I'm not looking to be able to cover everything, every cost I have just from those dividends. I'm looking to be able to take those dividends and eventually be able to pay like my rent or my mortgage payment, or just a sector of my life, just so I can ease the pressure of what else I need, if that makes sense. So I'm not looking to retire off dividends, although that would be amazing. I'm just looking to use them as another income source, pretty much. But equally, my plan isn't to do that for a long, long time. Like at the moment, I'm really in that accumulation and growth stage, and I just want to be able to reinvest those dividends and just keep growing the portfolio. And also, the reason that I'm not looking just to retire off these dividends is because there's other things going on, right? I have my pension that I have with work, so that's going to be hopefully nice one day, or, kind of nice. Pensions have some, I guess, get some bad stick as well. In the UK, we get a state pension. It's really quite rubbish, but it's still there. So that's an extra amount of money. And I hope to have other side things going on, other side businesses, I hate the word hustle, but you know what I mean. Other things going on that can also help. So all these money sources, income sources coming from lots of different places, including those dividends, hopefully it can make up the entirety of what I would need to actually be able to retire. I hope that makes sense. I'll throw the question back to you guys. When are you looking to retire, and what's kind of like your strategy? I'm going to read some out, so do let me know about that. And obviously here in the UK, you can have a SIP, which is a personal pension. You can have a workplace pension. You can have an ISA and do it that way, stocks and shares ISA. I guess those are the three main options. Workplace pension, obviously, I won't go into that, but that's a workplace pension. An ISA and a SIP, there's different pros and cons to those. I have an ISA because they're both tax advantaged, right? But correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the SIP has some rules about when you can actually withdraw money. I believe you've got to be a certain age, as with most pensions. So that's kind of the reason that I have the ISA. I get off on such a tangent. Some people hate on dividend investing so much. Why is that in your opinion? That's a fantastic question, honestly. You've just got to go on YouTube or Google something negative about dividend investing, and there's so much stuff. And it's really sad because I think it puts a lot of people off. I think the reason that there is so much hate about dividend investing is because a lot of people are of the mindset that if you're dividend investing, you are missing out on capital appreciation and growth stocks. And although that's a fair point, I think that's putting dividend investing into a box, and I don't think it needs to necessarily fit into that box. I think that you can be a dividend investor and still care about capital appreciation and growth. And dividend investing comes with a lot of its own pros. It comes with the fact that it can help you stay motivated to invest for a long period of time. And that is really, really important. You've got to enjoy what you're doing to turn up and do it time and time again. So yeah, it does get a lot of hate. And I think there's some reasons for that, but everyone hates on everything, don't they? Not everything is right for everyone. So I would argue that just dividend investing will not let you retire early. Yeah, it's a fair point. I don't know if that's part of another comment. I'm just going to go with that alone. I would argue that just dividend investing will not let you retire early. I do see your point. For me personally, dividend investing is not the only thing that I'll be doing to try and retire early. But if you were just dividend investing to retire early, I do agree that you'd have to put quite a lot of money into the portfolio. However, having said that, let's say that you are 25 years old and you know that you want to retire early, and early for you means 50, 55. You've still got a good chunk, a good period of time to actually put money into that portfolio and let it grow. Time is everything when it comes to investing. And you could look to maybe put 500 to, I don't know what everyone has per month. Obviously, I'm just picking numbers out of thin air. But if you were able to put 500 to £1,000 each month into that portfolio over a 30-year period of time, that's quite a lot of money going in, and compounding, reinvesting dividends, maybe it's possible. Samuel says, over time, value, dividend stocks almost always beat growth. I'm surprised how few people know this. Specifically, dividends reinvested. Yeah, I think what you're pointing out there, Samuel, that is really, really crucial is how important it is to reinvest those dividends. I think that is something that a lot of beginners miss. For me, I wouldn't say I missed that, but I didn't appreciate fully how important reinvesting dividends is. If you don't know and you haven't seen any of these graphs, definitely Google something like portfolio value with and without reinvesting dividends, because it's quite shocking. What you don't want to be doing, again, not financial advice, my personal opinion, is building yourself a portfolio and then withdrawing those dividends and doing something else with it. If you're going to be using those dividends for something you really need, then fine. There's always exceptions, but reinvest those dividends, guys. It's super, super important to actually build that portfolio up over time. Great point, Samuel. It's just generally being able to retire comfortably. I'm not sure what that's in reference to, but completely agree. There's a difference between being able to retire and retire comfortably. And it really, really also depends on, I guess, what you call a comfortable retirement. Are you someone that wants to go and sit on a beach in a luxury 5-star resort for the rest of your retirement, because that's going to cost you a lot of money? Or are you someone that perhaps wants to keep going with your way of life and maybe just work part-time and starting a business, doing something that you enjoy? So I think it really does depend. Just going to have a little drink. I forget where I get to. Stephen says a large chunk of growth in the S&P over the decades has been down to dividends. I heard on another channel somewhere else. Whatever channel you heard that from is talking the truth with this one. If you look at anything really, you'll see that a lot of the growth comes down from those dividends being reinvested. Specifically, that's what that comment was for. Okay. Hello from Israel. Hello. Wow, cool. Israel. I've never been to Israel. That's amazing. I'd love to visit Israel. Samuel said, for younger investors, a growing dividend yield is much better than a high yield. Yes, I completely agree. There is a time and a place perhaps for some high yield stocks, but not if that comes with bad quality. Always pick high quality over high yield. That's why I like dividend growth investing specifically. When you retire, will you withdraw all of your dividends each month? That's a really interesting question. I guess it will depend. It will depend on how much dividends I'm getting. If it makes more sense to perhaps withdraw like 3% to withdraw all the dividends plus a percentage of the portfolio in retirement, then fine. Maybe that makes more sense. Maybe I'll withdraw all of the dividends each month. I'm not really entirely sure. That's definitely something that will have to be figured out as time goes on. It's good to have a plan in place, and I definitely have a plan in place, but all those nitty-gritty details are going to really depend on how it goes, how the portfolio grows, how my personal situation goes as well. Curious what industry you work in. I work in the software industry. I'm not like a software engineer or anything like that. I just work for a software company. Working for building dividend portfolio. Yes, Adam, keep sharing your experience. Hi, I'm investing at 2,000 for the individual UK stocks like Unilever, Diageo, etc. Do you think I should transfer this money into an index fund such as VUSA? That is a hard question. I'll throw some thinking points out there, but I really cannot advise you on that question because it's really got to come down to your personal situation. If you are investing in just a few UK individual stocks, and that is all you're investing into, you are going to risk a lack of diversification, and that could be quite a risky thing. You could risk one of the sectors going down and that having a really, really big impact on your portfolio. If you're only investing in, let's say, Unilever and Diageo, and Unilever does not do well for 5 years in a row, and you've only got a 10-year time period, that's going to hurt. That's going to suck. Having said that, if you invest into some stocks that do really well, then you're going to pat yourself on the back, right? There's no knowing that. We do not know the future. No one can predict what these stocks are going to do over the long haul, and it's really hard. And that's the argument for having an index fund or an ETF, where you're going to get a collection of different stocks in that fund. You're going to get exposure to many, many different stocks and many, many different sectors. It's really, really hard. I'm investing. I'm just trying to read this question again. Okay. Personally, what I do, and this is just what I do, is I have you've probably seen from my portfolio updates, I have my dividend stocks that I invest in, but I also make sure I get exposure to specifically VUSA, which is an S&P 500 ETF. That way, for me, that helps me sleep at night because I know that I have these stocks that are going to bring in dividends, but I also have exposure to all these other companies. And again, VUSA, if you get the income version, brings in a dividend. So you could argue that is just, it fits nicely into my dividend portfolio. For me, it's going to be a combination of my private pension, government pension, and dividend income in the future. Yeah, Same for me, I think. That's the current plan at the moment. I'm going to have my government pension, my government... Am I using it? Yeah, government pension. Oh my God. My dividends / my portfolio. Like I said, I'm happy to have to withdraw a certain percentage plus the dividends if needed in the future. And then I also plan to have some different things going on as well. Adam, will dividend tax-free limit will be reduced to 100,000 in 2023? Are you I'm not sure if you're asking me if I think it will be or you're telling me it will be. Yeah, so the dividend tax-free limit. Okay, I think what is important here is to look for the most tax-advantaged ways to actually invest in the first place and then withdraw dividends from, if that's what you want to do. Generally speaking, in the UK, it will be an ISA. You're not going to really want to be making a big dividend portfolio outside of an ISA, because then you're going to be taxed on withdrawing any money from that, including dividends. And with the cost of living, with inflation, it's going to get eaten away. It will be the same for where everyone else is from as well. I'm sure that there's a tax advantage way to actually do this. But yeah, you're right. Everything it's becoming more and more difficult, isn't it, to become financially free? It really is. Okay, someone's actually said, yeah, Adam, just make sure you have your investments in an ISA. Exactly. I think that's the important thing here. Just keep it in an ISA. Adam, looking to retire around 70 years old. Retirement age at my company is 65 years for men. So a long time before me to work and invest. Yeah, I think a lot, the retirement age is going up. It always seems to be going up. The important thing, I think, is to find something that you do not dread doing every day, because I'm only 26, but I've been in jobs where I've literally dreaded going to work. And I felt like, how on earth am I going to do this for another month, let alone another decade? Try and get yourself into a situation where you're able to be optimistic about work and you are not dreading it every single day. And then on top of that, maybe look for things that you can do on the side. For me, I obviously have this YouTube channel that I absolutely love. By no means does this YouTube channel make any sort of money, but maybe one day it will. And I really, really love doing it. At the moment, it is a monetized channel, so it's bringing in a tiny bit of money, but nothing to speak of. So just find something that maybe you can work towards as well to bring in some extra income so that you can put that back into investing, build your portfolio even more than you originally planned. Someone says, are you single? Do you have family? No, I'm not single. And if you mean family, like, do I have family? Yeah, I have family, but I think you mean like, do you have any children? No, I do not have any children. I have individual retirement account in my country and also the company retirement account paying me 6% of my salary extra for free. There is something to be said about this. I've seen a lot of mixed opinions on pensions and whether you should have a work-based pension or not. And it's a really tricky decision, I feel like. But I would always say to try and match your employer's contribution, because it's literally free money. If they're able to match it at like 4%, then why not? But there was a particular job that I had where I didn't decide to go into the workplace pension because I'm not going to go into detail, but it wasn't a particularly great pension. And also I just wanted to use that money to invest on my own. So I guess you could argue either way. It depends what pension it is and how much control over what they invest in you have. And are they matching it to a good level? Lots of things to think about. I'm going to start wrapping it up soon. So I'll just look at a couple more of these and then I can answer any more that's left in the next live stream. So don't worry, I will get through them all. I'm retired at age 54 and just started a dividend portfolio. Wish I did it sooner. You keep going, Hayley. Firstly, your username is Wobbly Pete. That is a great username. I really love seeing people's usernames. I know that there is someone called Dr. Biscuits that I really like to see because that is a fantastic name. So Wobbly Pete, you're up there on my favorite usernames. 54, that's impressive. I feel like what's that? What's the retirement age in the UK right now? Someone let me know. Is it like 65? Am I making that up? Or was it? Okay, either way, I know for sure that 54 is a lot younger than normal. So go you, firstly. Well done on achieving that. That's amazing. And you've just started a dividend portfolio. Okay, so you kind of did it the other way around. I guess you retired. You haven't shared how you managed to retire at 54. I know that there's certain ways that you could have done that. I'm not sure how you did it, but well done on doing that. And now you're starting a dividend portfolio. You wish you did it sooner. 66 or 67. Thanks, Mike. Just seen that come through. 67. Oh my God. There's me telling you it's 65 and it's going to be 68 soon. I don't want to be working till I'm 68. Not something that I have to be doing. I want to be, being able to maybe do other things, other little hobbies when I'm that age. Anyway, what was I saying? My mind gets off on a tangent all the time. What was I saying? Oh, Wobbly Pete. I was on Wobbly Pete. You wish you did it sooner. Well, that's reassuring because obviously I'm trying to do it now. So that's nice to hear. Keep going. Thank you very much. I will. Hi to you too. Afternoon. That's, is that Factions Guru and ABL? Hello. Okay, I'm going to do just a couple more because I'm enjoying it and I like speaking to you guys. Speaking of retirement, I'm in the US Army and after 20 years of service, we get a pension. I think that's the same as the police force in the UK used to be. With a taxable investment account plus retirement accounts, I plan on being able to retire, semi-retire after service. Did I read that right? I feel like I didn't read that right. Okay, some things to point out. That's really amazing. That doesn't happen very often anymore, does it? That you get a good enough pension within a short amount of time that you can actually retire early. And then you've also said semi-retire. Now, I like that view. That's kind of what I'm thinking. If I could have it my way, I would have... This is like a little bit of a dream here. I'd like to be able to open like a little coffee shop and just run that part-time and then maybe have this whole YouTube investing stuff going on and just live like that. That would be really nice. And move somewhere hot. Why is anyone taking investing advice from a woman? I don't even know what to say. That is such a silly comment, honestly. I don't know why wouldn't, no one, I don't know. What's the difference between someone that's interested in investing that is a male or a female or whatever? Does it matter what gender they are? I don't think so. Oh, I missed one. Swordfish. Let me go back up. What software or websites do you find good for tracking your portfolio, particularly dividends? Interesting question. Okay, 3 things here that come to my mind. Firstly, I have my ISA, my portfolio with Interactive Brokers, and they kind of help me track that anyway. But on top of that, I made my own dividend tracker, which I do leave linked in most of my videos. So if you want to find that, please feel free. I really like that. Really, really like that. I obviously made it to track my dividends, so it does just that for me. But I know that there is ShareSite. That is quite a popular one. Quite honestly, though, I would have a look at different options and then perhaps combine them to make your own. That's what I did when I made my own. And now, that's available to you guys if you want it. Okay, I have a lot more questions and I don't think I can get through these all. I have a dividend-focused portfolio, which is currently paying me $1,100 a month, which takes care of my rent. Yes, big shout out to you, John Boy Jovi. I guess that's a Bon Jovi. I don't know. Anyway, that's amazing. That is literally where I want to get to. So that's inspiration right there. Love to hear that. Amazing, 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 amazing. And that will only grow over time. So imagine what you can be doing with that dividend portfolio in 10 years. Amazing stuff. That's literally why I'm so excited about this. Do you have Pork Chop? That's a good name as well, isn't it? Pork Chop, do you have a current? They literally did not even say the word current and I read current. Do you have a favorite stock you like that is not necessarily loved by experts? For me, it's Lloyd and Greencoat Wind. Oh, that's a good question. That is not loved. I feel like a lot of things, a lot of stocks in my portfolio are quite loved. I'm going to think about that one. That's interesting. Just as a little like side note on that, I actually filmed a video this morning that is all about relatively unknown stocks that I'm interested in and that I think look really good. So watch out for that. That's probably coming out tomorrow, and I'm really excited for you guys to give me your opinions on the 2 stocks that I mentioned. And the reason that I detoured to that from your question is because you said that are not necessarily loved. The ones that I'm going to share in tomorrow's video, they're not necessarily not loved, but I feel like they're not necessarily known, and I've not really seen them in anyone's portfolio. So that's interesting, but I'll definitely think about that. I can't give you an upfront answer, but you said for you it's Lloyd's and Greencoat Wind. I don't have either of them in my portfolio. I have to wonder why people don't like Lloyd's and Greencoat Wind. Let me know. I don't know. Why do people not like them? I feel like I've seen Lloyd's in a lot of people's portfolios. Who knows? Could you do a video on some UK dividend ETFs, like etc., etc., a mix of high dividend, dividend growth, dividend with capital growth? Yeah, I do have a couple of videos on dividend ETFs and specifically some of those that you mentioned. So do look for them videos, in my video section. But yeah, I'll probably do more in the future. I am personally going to be looking to add a particular dividend ETF in the future when it makes more sense. Maybe one of those that you've listed. So yeah, I'll definitely do more videos on them in the future. I feel like a dividend ETF is a really good option for someone that likes dividends and likes dividend portfolios, but maybe they don't want to start picking their own stocks. Okay, I'm going to ignore some. I've seen some comments that are just a bit silly, and I'm going to ignore them. So no need to be rude. I feel like let's all be nice. And I've literally received 99% of people are so supportive and so nice. But of course, you always get those people. I've seen a lot of people lose a lot of money investing in certain growth stocks. Yeah, you have a point there. You have a point. There are some growth stocks that are just not great, let's say. But equally, there are growth stocks that are absolutely amazing, and there are dividend stocks that are absolute rubbish and dividend stocks that are really good. So you get it anywhere. You've just got to do your own research and be thorough in that research. I'm 56 years old. I retired 2 years ago only from the income of my dividends. That is incredible. Please, that's a Chen, by the way. Please share more of your story. Find a video of mine, go and comment on it and tell me your story, how you did that, because I'll take, advice from you for sure. Free Trade to Financial Freedom said, "Hi Hayley. Hey, good to have you here. I see you comment on my videos quite a lot, so appreciate that. Thank you for supporting the channel." You will. I'm monthly mad on Free Trade general investment account is for rent ISA, is for feeding Vanguard all month. I'm monthly mad on, maybe I've been looking at these comments too often because I don't understand what you mean, Mark. I'm sorry. I'm monthly mad on Free Trade general investment account is for rent. ISA is for feeding. Okay, I think you're saying you have a general investment account and you have an ISA account and you differentiate what those two things are for. That seems like a good method. I have a general investment account as well, and it has some stocks like Tesla and stuff in. I don't really add to it, and that is also on Free Trade. Okay, two more. I'm going to actually end it after these two. So Mike Royce says, you will need ISAs to retire before 58. Is that because you're saying that an ISA is the best way in terms of being tax advantaged? I think you are. And the last question that we're going to do comes from Free Trade to Financial Freedom that says, have you tried withdrawals from your Interactive Brokers ISA? I think the reason that you're probably interested in that is because you're wondering how much that may cost. No, the answer is I have not done any withdrawals from that account. So I can't really give you that advice, that insight. However, if anyone here is noticing that I'm on Interactive Brokers and you're all thinking that you are interested in that option for your next year's ISA, then what I will do is nearer April, when everyone's thinking about their ISAs, I'll make a thorough video about everything that I've found with Interactive Brokers, the pros, perhaps some of the fees, the cons, whatever it may be, because it's a very new option for a UK ISA. And I haven't really seen anyone else do it on YouTube, to be honest. I feel like I'm the only one on here. So I will share and be as transparent as possible so you can make the choice that is best for you. Someone else has suggested that someone needs to be banned from here. Yeah, this person's not very nice. Everyone ignore this person. I don't know why they're here if they don't like me or the conversation that we're having. No idea. But having said that, right, thank you everyone for joining. What I'm going to do, like I said, is I'm going to screenshot these questions, any comments that I haven't got through, and that's how we'll start the next live stream. So I hope you've all enjoyed this. I've really enjoyed it. And honestly, I could keep chatting for hours to you guys, but I'm going to have to stop because my tummy is rumbling and I'm ready for some food. This person is annoying now. And you live with your parents. I don't live with my parents, but anyway, that doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Please just leave if you're going to be nasty to people. We're going to ignore them from now on. They're not getting any of our time. Thank you everyone that is so nice and is so supportive and joined in with this conversation. It's amazing to see different people's opinions and different people's insights into retirement, what their opinions are of retirement when they're looking to retire, their strategy, dividends coming into play. Amazing conversation as always, guys. If you want me to do a live stream focusing on any particular topics in the future, let me know. Drop me a comment on one of my videos. Make sure you let me know that it's, live stream specific. I'll note it down and we can have many more conversations in the future. So yeah, I'll see you next week at some point with another live stream, I imagine. And remember, check out the video that's coming out tomorrow. I hope to see you all in the comment section of that. And have a great evening. Do whatever you're doing. Thank you so much for being here, supporting the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you.